2.2 solving two-step equations. So the objective is to solve equations in one variable that contains more than one operation. So one example of that would honestly be what we've been doing before. So here you have two steps. You have to subtract the 2 first. We've seen this equation a few times in the examples. And then the second step would be to divide by 3. So that's why it's a two-step equation. So you do it in 2 steps. So the warm-up. For the first one, we're going to follow PEMDAS, guys. Remember, we're going to start by multiplying. So it's going to be 9. Negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6. So we're going to get 15. So for the second, you can either distribute or do PEMDAS and do parentheses first. I'll do the parentheses first. It's going to be 3 times negative 5 plus 7 is positive 2, which is going to give us 6. If you did it the other way, which is distributing, you wouldn't have gotten 3 times negative 5, which is negative 15. Plus 3 times 7 is 21, which again equals 6. So it didn't matter the order, you would still get the same answer. So for this third one, I'm going to again do the parentheses first, following PEMDAS. 3 plus negative 7, it's negative 4 over 12. Afterwards, I'm going to multiply 12 over 1 times negative 4 over 12. I'm going to simplify it real quick, and it's going to be just negative 4. Number 4, 26 minus 4 times 7 minus 5. Again, I'm going to start with the parentheses first. So I'm going to get 7 minus 5 is 2. That's going to give us 26 minus 4 times 2 is 8. Then 26 minus 28, let's do it right here on the side. $18. Number 5 is 10c plus c. Guys, remember, any variable that is alone, it's a 1 end of the variable. So we can say 10c plus 1c. It's going to give us 11c. Now, for number 6, I'm going to erase the work up here so I can work it out. We have 8.2b plus 3.8b minus 12b. I'm first going to add these two. So it's 8.2 plus 3.8. 8 plus 2 is 10. Carry the 1. 8 plus 3, it's 11 plus 1 is 12. Bring down that decimal. So we're going to get 12b minus 12b. So therefore, it's going to give us 0. Let's do number 7. Now, I look at the parentheses on the 2m minus 7. Now, looking at the parentheses, there's nothing I can really do because there's no like terms because of this m. So I'm going to distribute. I'm going to rewrite 5m plus, and then I'm going to distribute. 2 times 2m is 4m. 2 times negative 7 is negative 14. Now, the only thing I can do is combine the terms with the m. So this one and this one. And it's going to be 5m plus 4. It's going to give us 9m minus 14. Since I can't combine the m with the constant, that will be your answer. Now, let's do number 8. Again, this negative, you can think of it as a negative 1. And since we can't do anything in the parentheses, I'm just going to go ahead and distribute it. I'm going to rewrite the 6x. Now, negative 1 times negative 2x is negative 2x. And then negative 1 times 5 is negative 5. Again, can only combine the terms that are alike, which is the ones with the x at the moment. And that's going to give us 6x minus 2 is 4x minus 5. Now, steps for solving two-step equations. We can work on PEMDAS backwards. We went over this last class. Again, to actually solve, please do go in order. But to find a variable, you can go backwards. So if you need to distribute, like we did in the other problem with distribute, if we need to combine like terms, then we combine like terms, and then we work PEMDAS backwards. So if, for example, you have something like this, the first thing you're going to do is distribute that 2. So you're going to get 2x plus 6 is equal to 7. Now after I distribute it, there's absolutely nothing else I need to combine because I don't have any like terms per side, but I do have like terms on the opposite side of the equation. So I'm going to subtract that 6 in order to combine them, and I'm going to get 2x is equal to 1. And lastly, I'm working PEMDAS backwards because I subtracted first, and then I divided in order to get that x is equal to a half. So it's just working backwards, but still for solving it, you have to go in order. Just to get the variable alone is when you work it backwards. So we have to solve 18 equals to 4a plus 10. The first thing I'm going to do is locate the variable I'm trying to find. In this case is a. So I'm going to subtract the 10 first to get that a to be alone, or that term with the a. 18 minus 10 is 8. That equals 4a. Afterwards, since again I want to make sure that a is completely alone, I have to divide by 4 since it's being multiplied. So we do the inverse operation. It's going to cancel it out. So we're going to get 8 over 4 is equal to a. But I am expecting you guys to simplify, so we can say that a is equal 8 divided by 4 is 2, so this would be your final answer. Let's solve this one. 5t minus 2 is equal to negative 32. Again, what I'm trying to find is that t. So I'm going to add this 2 in order to get the 5t term alone. So negative 32 plus 2 is negative 30. And again, since because I'm trying to find this t, I'm going to have to divide by 5 as the 5 is being multiplied with a t. In order to cancel it, use the inverse operation again. Again, I'm going to do it to both sides. So t is equal to negative 30 over 5. Since I'm expecting you guys to simplify, t would be equals to negative 6. So again, the first step is identifying what we're solving for. In this case, the x. So we want that term to be alone. In order to get it alone, we have to get rid of that negative 4. So we use the inverse operation, which in this case they're subtracting 4. So we're going to add 4. It's going to cancel out. So we're going to add it to the other side. Now, as a reminder, the 3 and the 4 are both constants, so we can add them together. So we're going to get 4 plus 3 is 7. And because we're solving for that x, we're going to divide that by 7 as it's being multiplied. Again, always use the inverse. And what you do on one side, you must do to the other. So x is equal to 7 over 7, or 1, which is a simplified form. Now, here we're solving for y, so we're going to add the 5.7. It's going to cancel it out. 5.7. Now, 5.7 plus 1.5 is 7.2 equals 1.2y. We're going to divide by 1.2 on both sides. Now, guys, as a reminder, you cannot have this bottom number have a decimal when you're dividing. So it's going to be 12 divided by 72. So this would be 6. Y is equal to 6. Now, just to finish the division to prove it to you guys, 6 times 2 is 12. Carry the 1. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 1 is 72. And match, so your answer is 6. Guys, this one, do it for homework. I want to go over this, guys. Equations that are more complicated may have to be simplified before they can solve. So ask yourself, do you need to distribute? Do you need to combine like terms? You may have to use distributive property or combine like terms or even use them together before you can start doing the inverse operation. So this equation looks a bit more complicated because there are 4 terms in total. But if you guys notice, 2 of these terms have x. So we can combine the 8x and the 5x by adding them. So 8x plus 5x is 13x. I'm just going to write the negative 21 and the minus 15 together. Afterwards, again, this now is a 2-step equation, so what we've been working with. We're going to add the 21 on both sides. It's going to give us 13x is equal to 6. Again, when there's different signs, subtract. So we're going to do 21 minus 15 is going to be 6. And you keep the sign of the biggest number. In this case, the sign of the biggest number is positive because 21 is bigger than 15. And lastly, we're just going to divide by 13 on both sides. And we're going to get x is equal to 6 over 13. Now that would be your final answer. You don't not have to put it in decimal form. You can leave it as a fraction. This is a simplified fraction, so this would be it. Now, the remainder of the notes, guys, are homework. So all of these are homework. Plus the example I said earlier.